But do you think the crash was the legacy of the deregulation of the financial sector and basically overheated? Back in my dad's day, it was only 3 times your wages, your house. But now it's like 10 times your wages. The cost of things have increased, so particularly on housing and particularly on private rent. And I do think there has to be a reckoning that part of that was due to Margaret Thatcher's policy on the right to buy schemes, because we didn't put in any social housing stock to act as competitors against the private rented market and against the private ownership market.
Average GDP growth between 1988 up until the financial crisis was over 2.5%. Now we're lucky if we can get 0.3%. Real GDP per capita, which is adjusted for inflation, was $15,000 in 1988, $36,700 in 2007. Huge increase there. Home ownership rate increased massively from about 65% to 68.5%. In fact, many people owned the council homes for the first time. That was almost the biggest redistribution of wealth to the poor on the deregulation point. Because I keep hearing, it's caused the crash, it caused the crash. The 2008 financial crisis was caused by the Federal Reserve. It was not caused by deregulation.
Part of the housing crisis, because you mentioned housing and home ownership, the right to buy existed long before Maggie Thatcher. What she did differently, but before then, if you wanted to buy your council house, you had to go to a bank, get a loan, and you had to pay off you had to basically get a whole loan for the whole house. What she did is anything not very physically conservative at all. She was basically discounting them. So she was using taxpayers' money to give massive discounts for these council houses. And this caused, and I think there is an argument to be made that this caused...
One of the difficulties of Thatcherism, and I think many of the changes that she made to the economy were necessary because of the reasons Luke gives. Some of those communities have never, ever recovered. And that is part of her legacy too. I find that really difficult, actually, because as much as some of what she did was clearly needed, it was done in such a harsh way. We can't just live our life as solo individuals. We've got to have family, we've got to have community, we've got to have society. And I think it was on that latter point that her legacy is actually pretty devastating.